some of you have heard of that. Although there are Gnostic understanding that knows the River Jordan, but it's twisted very much on other topics. We're gonna talk about Gnosticism in some
But,
other broadcast.
Brother Francis,
They're battling that.
they,
Okay.
they 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 are battling Gnosticism, not the Godhead teaching, but actually later on in 325 AD, there are many beliefs that occur during that time.
Yes.
Nestorianism, Arminianism, or there are, what we have now is already there in third century AD.
So actually, the very first doctrine
So
that
God
will be
allows that.
attacked is the
You,
Godhead.
you mean you mean God allows that the view of the understanding of the Godhead was declined.
Yes, it declined, it deteriorated. So, in the church ages, there is the falling away, there's the restoration, and there's the perfection. Perfection is this: you got restored to the original teaching. Then there are still mysteries that was not yet revealed in the time of the apostles, that will be revealed in the end times. As
Yes.
what I just said a while ago, I never taught this before. The revelation of the Godhead today for us. There are things that we can explain that the apostles were not able to comprehend. For the apostles, it's simple. It's very similar to the Muslim or the Jewish messianics, that Christ was sent, he was the Messiah, he's the Son of God. He's not a co equal God, although he has the nature of God. So, how it happens, how they detail it, it's very simple as they present it to the outside world. Now, after their death, there are the Trinity is one of the attempts to for a spoken word revelation, as though the Jews didn't know that. Only the Christians supposedly know that they were three of them in heaven. The Jews don't never teach there are three of them in heaven, but they can use several scriptures in the Old Testament that besides God the Father, there's another God the Son or God the Holy Spirit up there in heaven. It's a mystery. So I hope you can invite through Telegram other Christians. This is a good topic, but maybe no one is prepared for that.
So,
So,
Brother
okay.
Francis, the economic trinity of what the Tertullian teach are deeper to subordinationism of origin and Athanasius with co-equality and co-eternal. So are
So
they are
Athanasius strengthened the notion that there are three entities, three beings. That's my wording in the broadcast. Three beings, three entities, three conscious persons in the Godhead. Person in this case is no longer a mask. Persons is now a conscious, independent being. So three persons in the Godhead refer to three conscious entities, three beings in the Godhead. So there were three of them from the beginning, from eternity in the past. It's always been that way. Brother Frank, in his booklet, uh, Traditional Christianity, he refutes that. How can the Son be born in heaven eternally? Son being born in heaven, that will be Arianism or subordination. Subordination can apply to Arianism, Unitarianism, because subordinate means the Son is subordinate to the Father. But subordinationism in this case, as what we see in the tabulation, they are also Trinitarians. There's one version of subordinationism when the three of them coexist eternally, like like the Athanasian Trinity, but it just so happened that the Son is subordinate. There's another subordinationism wherein the Son was came out from the Logos, came out from God in the beginning. So that's closer to Arianism, but there are three of them. So there are different versions of subordinationism, but just the same. They Later we're gonna talk about the wheel of prophecy. If we go to the oneness, okay. This is the pre-existence of Christ uh, with regards to the okay. She lost the tabulation. Okay, let's get back to our. Let me ask you a question. How do they explain one God? Deuteronomy 6:7, 6:4. Mr. Bernard asked this question. Behold, the Lord thy God is one Lord. How do they explain that?
They
I
explain
hope
they,
Brother David could answer.
they explain one God in Deuteronomy 6:4 is one, ikad one. So they it same to their belief that one God in three person. So in one there are the lots of there are many. So one is equivalent to uh
Okay, you forgot their terminology. Bar Jerry. Anyone
equi-
else? Anyone can interject what they mean for Echad. And if you hear the Seventh Day Adventist in the radio broadcast,
Yes.
so
Mm.
to be beren, you need to listen. They frequently talk, especially when I was broadcasting, they were debating with me. They were answering me through their remarks. What was say? I was also choosing one. That's why I know explanation. They say Yakid for Yakid is maybe what they mean is numerical one, although Yakid is not written in the Bible. Echad is a what? That's my question. What
Cluster.
one word? What is your word,
Eka,
Barjeri?
Cluster.
eka,
Cluster. That's their evidence their evidence. A cluster of grapes. So you can search that in the night. But Sister Joanna, you know what? No. By the way, every minister should be familiar with this. That's why I'm lamenting that I forgot about the Bible school that we started out. So we have to get back to that because even doctrinally, we are not prepared. You don't know
preferences.
everything that is to know. You have to review. You have to know,
Ikad
and you have to
means
witness that in order for
united
you to
one.
remember these details. You have to listen to others and ask others also, so you get their version
Preferences.
how to answer them. O Barmenan.
United one, according to them.
Well, that's not their
Their
immediate
exact word.
There's not their immediate interpretation of Ecod, but that's their explanation.
Yeah.
So let's
Yakid.
go to
unity,
Yakid.
their
unity,
def-
ekad, unity.
unity. That's the explanation.
Yakid.
So no one
Yakid is
remembers the word they use. Ecod. What kind of one?
Unity,
That's right. That's their explanation. They're united together as one. They have unity. Just as Christ said, I and my Father are one. That's actually unity also. Although there are other hidden mysteries only revealed through spoken word. One spoken word revelation is becoming one. We don't read that often in the apostles' letters. So Paul and Peter are the most John are the most prominent letter writers. The rest, of course, it could be forgivable that other ministers are not very adept with the word. like the rest of the 11 apostles or 10 apostles. But for us in the end times, every minister should study yourself to show yourself approved of God, a workman that is lacking nothing. So you need to know, you need to listen to how they explain it. Their terminology is called compound one,
Composite one.
a composite one or compound one. That's their terminology. It's not just the Seventh Day Adventist who explains that. It just so happened they are big help, but we're not listening to them. I was lamenting I was the only one listening to them. Maybe the next one who's listening is Brother Mio. The rest are not listening. So, but I had an instruction. I need to mention this, even though this is not a judge counseling class. I've been instructing everyone to listen to other broadcasts. You do you remember that? Maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, almost 20 years ago. Do you remember? I've been teaching everyone. Before I used the word hukum class or ministries, I was teaching everyone to listen to other broadcasts. Do you remember that? Why am I emphasizing? Why am I insisting? We forgot about that. Right now, we have this version of EA1 to listen to other teachings. But before there was transistor radio, I was even offering to buy for anyone any transistor radio, 50 pesos or 100 pesos then. Does anyone remember? I just need information. Anyone remember I've been given that instruction? Hello.
I do.
Yes,
You
yes.
remember that? Okay.
I remember
Don't
that.
forget that. Even though we don't need that radio anymore, we
We're
need
just
You
to
we're
use
just the term,
you
Brother
are
Francis.
asking, Brother
We're
Francis, you are
listening.
asking to
We're
listen
listening to
to
them.
Chuck Paul, John
yes,
MacArthur. They
John
are
MacArthur.
Trinitarians. I still
The-
remember that since 2003, I think.
If that instruction was not hijacked, you would be matured in the word. Now, Barmenan knows a little bit because of his debates. But what about the rest? You need to listen to them and ask questions about that. Not necessarily right now, but that should be our lifestyle. How do we answer this? How do we answer that? Say there's EA1, EA2A. So that's very crucial, you know. This is not a joke, this is not something optional. This
But
is
Francis,
needed for our ministry.
that's
Otherwise, we are inadequate with the word.
But
Okay,
Francis,
Birmingham.
uh,
Yes.
I think that's also what happened to the after the disciple was gone. After Paul was
Yes.
done,
Yes. What's up?
they become lukewarm of if you read
Amen.
Ephesians chapter Ephesian church in Revelation chapter 2, they lost love.
Love.
They
Yes. The
they
fire of
become
being Berean is gone.
they become lukewarm. That's the reason
Christ
why
commended them for proving which say they're apostles and are not. That's being Berean. But when they left their first love, they've lost proving all things. Become denominational.
Brother
Denominational is
Francis,
you don't
uh,
scrutinize anymore like being Berean.
I have a
You
question for
just
you.
judge them by personality or by association. That's denominationalism.
I
Today we
have a
have that
question.
even the end time message. Okay, question.
Um,
I hope we
in
can finish
Manolite,
all this. Yes.
during I think uh is it true that you said that I forgot about the doctrine, just share what the hukum ministry teaching, don't rely on the doctrinal issue, so what do you think, is that the reason, or what you said? Is
Now,
it
if
true
you're
that you
asking
said
the
that?
reason people become lukewarm, There are false
Father,
ministers.
Father George said, "Oh, you always teach hukum ministry. Uh, you forgot about the doctrinal teaching, doctrinal issue. So the reason why Father George are telling
Upset
that,
with Judge Counseling Ministry.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so let me answer this, but this is
is
not
it
our
true?
topic. We cannot take too much time on this. If you understand that the Judge Counseling Ministry, being Berean, you need to compare doctrines. Because in other churches, they don't compare doctrines most of the time. They spoon feed the doctrine.
No, Brother Francis, no, that's not the question. The question is, Brother George says, you always teach hukum ministry, teaching the judge counseling ministry, and you forgot to teach the doctrinal part of the teaching. So that's the reason that they become lukewarm. According
So,
to
okay. If you
what
want to go
Brother
back in
George said.
history, I've been teaching doctrines every Sunday night. I never stopped that until I got sick. So, or there was a pandemic and I got sick also. I never stopped Sunday night. The doctrine never was gone. And I only started judge counseling hukum ministry in Carolina in 2007. So I still have time for doctrine even in Carolina. But before 2007, I was always doctrine also. Only doctrines. But what about hukum ministry? What you should do? There is what you should do in order to know the differences. Being Berean. Of course, hukum ministry has different aspects as an individual believer, as a married couple, as a family, and as a church church brethren. So being Berean is how you would grow yourself in the doctrine. So if he really understood it, I think he understood it until someone else, there was an influence to forget about that, to ignore me. Okay? That's why today there's a misrepresentation, a misunderstanding that I don't want to talk doctrines anymore. And I heard this that I'm already way past my age. I'm no longer teaching fresh revelations. So they don't listen to me anymore. So there was this wording before that
Sir
I'm past
Francis,
my prime. Okay.
Sir Francis.
So that why would they say I no longer teach doctrine? They were caught up in a wave, a sentiment that was against me. There was a secret, there's a conspiracy, a secret conspiracy, not as exposed as Pastor Roldan, to undermine my teachings, my authority, so my influence, so that they would just ignore me. Right now, they don't remember that you need to be Berean in order to be sealed. You need to study to show thyself. And how do you study? You study by comparing. You're getting their side and getting our side. But in traditional ministries, they don't do that. They just refute. It's over. They don't exhaust the evidences of others. So not even just to the members, even to the level of the ministers, they're not as exhaustive anymore. They want to be taught by other end time teachers, except for me. So what happens? They can learn a little bit from others, but they cannot learn everything because they shut they shut themselves up from to me. So you need to be if you're fair, you're objective, you get their side, you get my side. But if you don't get any one of the sides, then you're not fair. You don't get everything. So what you're saying is just a sentiment. It's not because I don't really teach doctrines, because they stopped listening to me. They stopped studying. They stopped comparing. They just presume uh, I cannot teach anything new anymore. Well, what they said about me, I experienced that from others, but I never stopped listening to them or asking them. Even from my own pastor, I can say, I know everything what you're gonna say, but out of respect, I still listen to him. I still ask him. I even invited him to teach in Manalite. That's the Berean spirit. You always give them chance to air their side, even if you know the ins and outs of everything they say. That's why I insist there should be an examination on what I initially taught, because they presume they know everything that I'm teaching. So there should be an examination. Do you remember what he taught about this? What is it? Even right now, I'm still conducting examinations because that is very important. Do you really know what everything he said for you to ignore him? Right now, if a Trinitarian will dish out any new evidence, we still have to listen. That's how you vindicate if you are on the truth. If you don't know how to listen, then how can you claim you know a deeper truth than they are, while you don't know how they explain it? You don't know the new evidences they're dishing out. It's not just the Godhead, the Trinitarians, or the oneness. It could be any beliefs: atheism, deism, Catholicism, Protestantism, Pentecostalism, the message. So what you need to take note, and by the way, how do you remember the basics? Of course, we could forget about that because it was a long time ago. And there's so many revelations that was revealed by God. How do you remember to share the basic doctrines to the advanced? You need to share them. You need to teach them. If you don't share them, that's why we have 2B, no? Emergency Abranda 2B. You need to share them. Even older persons, you need to share them. If you don't share them, you're going to forget them. One frequent caller asking me for doctrines, not the previous doctrines, not the examination of previous doctrine, but new doctrines. I gave him an examination. He could not remember all the past revelations, the explanation. He just had a faint idea. We're gonna deteriorate if we don't share to others. So I'm saying this for every one of you, young and old alike. If you stop sharing in 2B, you presume it's not important, you're no longer refreshing yourself. And there will come a time you're going to forget about it. And you cannot teach anymore. You cannot share that anymore. But the true church constantly contends for the faith which was once delivered to the saints. Not just the Godhead. Contend everything. Communion, Melchizedek, Revelation 10:7, Malachi chapter 4. Contend everything. So you witness that. You have all the time in the world to witness that. That's why not just young people, not just children, but even parents, older people, elders should exercise witnessing in 2B emergency Abranda 2B. You start witnessing. When I say witness, don't witness only unlimited topic. You have to witness all the topics you have. That's why it's an everyday affair.
Per Francis,
Every Okay, Ferdenand.
you mean you did not said that forget about the doctrine. So what you said is Judge Counseling Ministry teaching
As
is
doctrine.
alongside same as a doctrine. So Judge,
They have
doctrine is
aspects
part
on
of the Judge
doctrine.
Counseling Ministry.
So they have aspects on doctrine. The
Yes,
problem
yes.
is because of the confusion and influences. That's what I call Bible school already. We've never arrived to that because there were
Question
intrigues,
question about the
controversy.
tabulation to the tabulation of the Godhead. Okay, Godhead tabulation.
When I made this tabulation, how many used that? Maybe before someone was using it, but right now no one is using it. No one
I
can even. We need to witness to
I
others aside from teaching our own brethren. Okay, what are you saying?
yeah, the God the Son term. So before Matthew chapter 16 verse 16, Peter said to Christ, uh thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Then
So basic.
it 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 came to Tertullian and Athanasius, the word that the term God the Son. So what is the truth about this? Can we use God the Son or the
Good
Son of God?
question. Good question. Basic, not end time. Basic oneness, and they're all right. No, that's true. Basic
Because
oneness
because because
refutes
for
God,
us
the word God
Christ
the
is
Son.
because for us Christ is also he become God. So why can't we use the word God the Son?
So let me finish. So let's categorize this in the basic and the advanced. In the basic, the oneness refutes the word God the Son because that's an unbiblical term. Say unbiblical, verbally or literally written. There's no writing God the Son, and the concept of the Trinitarian of God the Son is very erroneous. So God the Son, by the way, I was surprised Ron Medieval used the word God the Son also. Because Barbarnam used the word God the Son. But not for the same reasons we have, okay? Later, when we go to the advanced, I could justify the word, not just God the Son. Many Catholic understandings or the terminologies could be justified correctly, like papacy, confessional. But let's go to the basics first. You need to know the basics before you go to the advanced. Because if you jump to the advanced, how can you refute the how can you evangelize those that are in error? So let's go to the basic refutation. This did not start from Barbanam. I think Barbanam didn't study much the oneness theology. So if you study oneness theology, they are very adept. They're so meticulous in refuting the Trinity to the point even the word God the Son, there's a refutation for that. So the traditional refutation for God the Son, you mean to say the Son is also God. But when you say Son of God, the God there is the Father, not the Son. Son of God, there's a preposition of God. So the Son is not God. The Son is of God. He is of whom, which God? The Father, the singular God. So God the Son implies that the Son is also God. So my pastor gave this example, doctor the Son and Son of the doctor. Is that the same? Can anyone answer?
No,
Yes
no,
or no? Not
no.
the same, right? Okay. So if they're not the same, then you know Son of God and God the Son is not the same by its statement itself. We're talking about basics, basic approaches, okay? So, um, Doctor the Son and Son of the Doctor is different. Doctor the Son, who is the doctor? Who is the doctor? Can anyone answer? You just analyze that language. Doctor the Son, who is the doctor there? Sister Joanna, Simon, Ann, Brother Magellan, Brother Joshua, Sister Ami.
The
If
Son is
you're
the
not inviting
doctor.
Telegram. Who is the doctor? The son is the doctor. Doctor the son. This is just grammar. In
That's
Tagalog,
different.
that's
That's different
doktor na
with
anak. Doktor
Son
na
of
anak.
the doctor.
Yes. Now, who is the doctor in Son of the Doctor? Who is the doctor there?
That's
Son
the
of the
Father.
Doctor. The Father,
The
anak
Father.
ng doktor. So you see, there's a difference there. So that's a good approach of my pastor. Now the oneness in basic in the basic level. So you need to learn the basic level how to refute the Trinity or others. So in their effort to refute the Trinitarians, they would say there's no such thing as God the Son. But of course, the oneness goes to the extent that when Christ went up to heaven, there's no longer the Son. The Son disappeared. You see, the Son is just like a theophany, temporary theophany. So when the Son went up to heaven, there's no more Son anymore. He just fizzled out. That's why there's what they call the Jesus only, um, because he was actually the Father. So he just put on a robe of flesh to show he's the Son. But when he went up to heaven, he went back to being a father. And they quote this verse that dead shall the Son surrender to the Father. Surrender meaning the sonship. The sonship ministry has disappeared. Okay. So now you were asking about can we use the statement? Yes, we can. Because there are many statements, even in Catholicism, that we can use. Can we use the word co-equal? Can we use the word He's God? Can we use the word God the Son? Can we use the word confessional? Can we even use the word Pope? Pope it means. Did you know that our wording for patriarchs is the same as the Pope? Pope is just a Latin word for patriarch. So the papacy is not wrong by the meaning itself. And what was wrong in the Catholic Church papacy? It's the Nicolaitanism. That's what's wrong. It's not the papacy itself or being the patriarch or being the leader. Okay? So can you say Peter was the first pope? Yes, in a deeper understanding. So let's talk about God the Son. Was Peter the rock? Okay. Now, in a progressive understanding in spoken word revelation of the hidden mystery, if the Son will inherit deity, if he would be created in the image of God, much like the bride, the church would be. Everyone that will be glorified will receive the status, the characteristics of homoousios. Homoousios. Exact same nature. So there's nothing wrong to use the word God. I remember Jun Pesito before used the word we are Christ's. So people are scandalized by his statement. But but that's not wrong. But the meaning of the word Christ is you're anointed. You're the Son of God. You're chosen. You're sent by God. So when he applied it to everyone, everyone is Christ. He's talking about his group, of course. Um, that statement is not wrong. What about the level 3? They had a statement, we are gods. So we can be called gods. The statement could be very scandalous to other denominations, other traditional Christians. So this is my answer to you. In the advanced level, there are statements that are, shall we call, tolerable, that you can use that. So both the statements, Jesus Christ is not God, Jesus Christ is God, if you have the right understanding, some statements are tolerable. So we don't choose just one statement. Is subordinationism wrong? Is the word Trinity wrong? In the right understanding, it's not. So when Brother Ron Milieva used the word God the Son, of course he got it from Brother Branham. Brother Branham could be a Trinitarian then. Okay, he could be speaking like a Trinitarian then. Maybe he will apply his more advanced understanding that because he's God the Father himself. Okay, speaking as the Son. Of course, in our understanding is because the Son would inherit the nature of the Father in his baptism and in his resurrection. Did the Son inherit the nature of the Father during his birth? Yes, and it's a gradual growth from his birth. That's also the Feast of the Tabernacles. In his indwelling, in baptism, also the Feast of the Tabernacles. And in his resurrection, that's the Feast of the First Fruit after the Passover unleavened bread. So, those are the inheritance of the deity of God gradually until its fullness. The Bible says that the Son inherited all things from the Father. So, I'm going to get back to the Ikad. If you've read the book of David Kerr Bernard, I would strongly recommend you read that. Now, if we don't have any library anymore, we don't have the book anymore, I would I hope there will in the future there will be volunteers. Um, I would implore you to just go online or make use of your cell phone. That's the good use of your cell phone instead of wasting your time on some funny cats. Use your time to Google it. David Kerr Bernard, the oneness of God. Okay, of course he's selling it, but maybe there are other apologists that put it online about what Ekad, their explanation of Ekad. So in the book of David Kerr Bernard, it greatly helped me before. The word Ekad is used many times in the Bible. You just Google the strong concordance of that. So when you read anything about one, numerical one, so this is how he worded it. The Trinitarians interpret Ikad as a composite one, but David Kerr Bernard said it is biblically it's a numerical one. What is a numerical one? One in number, not in symbolism or compound one or composite one. One in number, singular. So there are no three persons co-equal God. I also use this statement. Three persons co-equal God persons, co-equal in power. Okay? Co-eternal, co-equal in authority. So it's not originally like that. Today we can have co-equal authority by our progressive revelation because it was awarded to the Son. And we can also be awarded to. But in the past, we're talking about pre-existence. In the past, was there co-equal authority, co-eternal persons? Each person is a God. Oh, that's how they explain it. So, there are many scriptures. I hope you can Google it right now. If any one of you can share screen it, just Google it right now. If you're free and you're not inviting through Telegram, Google the word Ekad numerical one verses. There, how many verses? Let me give you an example. Dagon was used for with Ekad. No, Elohim. Oh, sorry. The word Elohim. David Kerr Bernard was refuting the interpretation of Elohim as multiple persons, plurality of persons. Now, if we're going to go over all the evidences against the Trinity, we're not going to finish. We're going to run out of time. You just need to study the book. Now, the numerical one, there are many numerical ones in the Bible. If you look at it, it's not composite one. Now, let's go to the composite one. The Trinitarians are deceptive in proving Ekad as a composite one. How? They use the cluster of grapes. That's what Jerry thought the meaning of Echad was. Jerry was somewhat deceived by this Trinitarian version. Echad is the cluster. No, Echad is not the cluster. Echad is one. So, they're saying Echad is multiple because Echad or one cluster of grapes. So, what is one? The grape or the cluster? Can anyone answer? One cluster of grapes. What is one referring to? Echad. What is one referring to? Is it the cluster or the grapes? Uh, please choose. I need you to interact. Brother Joshua, Sister Ami, Sister Jezreel, Joanna Lenlito, Simon An. Because if you don't speak, you won't receive enough anointing. So, Bar Barpadon, can you choose? Just choose one. Is it the one cluster or the grape? The grapes.